our special guest is here. We only have limited time with her today, so I want to yield the floor to her. Very great friend of ours and a very great long-term supporter of all what we have been trying to do on multiple levels. So it's always a privilege and a pleasure and an honor to share space and time in one of these little square boxes. And we're not in prison yet, so whilst we're free, it's great to share one of these freedom boxes with our dear Sister Charmaine Simpson. So please take your devices off of mute. And she's a great business coach, a great business developer, a great business woman, a great entrepreneur, and above all, she's a great mother and she's a great wife. So let's give her a big round of applause and receive her with niceness. Warm welcome, Sister Charmaine.
Welcome, Sister Charmaine.
Thank you,
Good to
brother.
see you.
Greetings, sister.
Nice to see you all.
Yes, ma'am.
Excellent. So thank you, everybody. So thank you, Brother Abdul, for having me
You're
today.
always welcome. It's a privilege. We are honored.
So before I start, just let's say thank you, everybody, for coming along to this session today. So what I'm going to do is I am going to run through a presentation I often give, just looking at financial education and also get you to start thinking about getting your house in order. Because that is the main thing that we want people to do, is get their house in order, their financial house in order. It's so important that we need to get our house in order, especially what's going on in the world at this moment in time. If we have to up and leave, we need the resources to up and leave, because most of us, like me, can't swim. We got to think of ways how we're going to get to where we need to get to. So we need to get our house in order. And it's so important that we start thinking about these things as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through a presentation which is going to be titled 10 Steps to Financial Success. So let me share that with you now. Yeah. Okay, can everybody see that clearly?
Yes.
Yeah, excellent. So just give you some background information about myself. So my name is Charmaine Simpson. As Prophet Abdul said, I'm a big supporter of the Nation of Islam UK. One of the best experiences I had with the Nation of Islam UK was going to Saviour's Day in 2020, where we actually got to meet the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan at Saviour's Day. That was just one of the highlights of my life, and I absolutely love Nation of Islam UK. So I'm one of your biggest supporters and a good friend. So I have been running organizations, setting up businesses. One of my first business that I set up was selling fried snapper, hardo bread and coleslaw in a youth club in Wembley to the Jamaican young people there. I used to sell it for I think it was about £5 for a meal, and I raised some money and then I spent it all. As you do. I've had many businesses over the years. I've done paper round. I even did paper round when I was at university on my bike, and everybody was laughing at me like, why are you doing paper round? Because I needed the money, basically. Right. And I remember doing that, developing photos in Boots in St. Albans, just to get money to get through my economics degree. And I passed my economic degree with a first class honours, being one of the very first people in my family to go to university and get a degree. And that has led me to go on to do my master's, which I've got in Global Black Studies. And now I'm doing a PhD. So I'm working on that at the moment, and I handed in one of my assignments. But one of the passions that I love doing is talking about financial education, because I realized from a very young age that finances is key. Yeah. And oftentimes I listened to a YouTube, it was an Instagram post today from somebody saying that our parents haven't done this and they squandered their money and they didn't pass on wealth and they expected us to work. But you can't teach something you don't know.
Right.
And a lot of our parents were on survival mode, basically bring you in the house, feed you, clothe you, and that's what they did. So you can't really blame our parents if they weren't taught financial education. And most of us haven't gone through school learning about financial education, unless you went to a private school in this country where that's often taught. Most of us went to public schools, you wouldn't have learned this information. So I started teaching financial education I'm executive vice president of a financial education firm. I've been doing that since May of 2016, but I'm always immersing myself in teaching financial education. So what I'm going to be doing, and also I run a couple businesses with my husband. One of the businesses that most people know me for is Black History Studies, where we've been operating that business for over 18 years now, teaching Black studies and Black history all around the UK, all around the world. And we also have a sister company called Black History Study Tours, where we teach, where we take groups globally around the world. So I'm always traveling and learning around the world. And this year we're taking 2 groups to Brazil, and I just came back from Egypt, and we're also doing a Black History tour of Lisbon, because we are global Black people or global Africans, and we have history all over the world. But we need to go and find that and make links with our brothers and sisters. Yeah. So that's what we use as well as my financial education company as well. So today I'm going to run through 10 steps to financial success. Okay. And what I do on a day-to-day basis is help families with their finances. So I'm a passionate personal financial coach and a financial educator, and I do that via presentations. I do that via film screenings. I teach everywhere. I've even done presentations in a pub before. Yeah, I go into prisons, anywhere where there's people that they can listen, I will teach you. Yeah, I've stood up in Sainsbury's, literally teaching people about finances and watching the security guard walk past thinking, what is this woman doing in the meat aisle? So what I want to do is educate people about their finances, because I recognize that a lot of people can make better financial decisions if they had the knowledge. Okay. And this knowledge is easy to find. It's just to have the knowledge and have somebody like myself teaching you so that you can make better financial decisions. So I sit down with families on a day-to-day basis to show them how to achieve financial well-being and help them achieve their goals and find solutions to money problems as well. Okay. And I work with people that want to save money, make more money. I love showing people how to make more money. Also thinking about how you to manage your money through budgeting. Also looking at paying off debt. I find paying off debt sexy. I love helping families paying off debt, because when you've been in debts and you show somebody how to pay off their debts, I know how that feeling is, because a lot of people have financial anxiety when it comes to debt. So I love showing families how to pay off their debts much sooner, especially your mortgage as well, showing you how to pay that off much sooner as well. And also improve your financial literacy, so then you can pass on that information to anybody around you as well. So we all grow and empower each other together. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through 10 steps. Okay. And look at these different 10 steps. And these are things that you can practically do. Okay. So like what sister was saying earlier from previous sessions, take action on the information that you hear. Yeah. It's not about just what we call it, information junkies, just taking all the information and not doing any action with it. It's all about taking action with the information that we learn. And it's so important that we do that as well. Okay. So when we look at financial success, it's not determined by the amount of money that you make, but how comfortable and in how in control you are with your financial situation. Okay. And that can change throughout the years. Okay. Sometimes everything is good. Sometimes things happen. Sometimes it's bereavement. Sometimes it's illness, and things can go off track. Okay. But it's being able to ride the wave and be able to get back on track. Okay. So financial success, what is that? So there's about how many people on this webinar so far? 53 people so far, I can see. Okay. If I was to ask that question, what does financial success mean to everybody? Everybody will have a different answer. Okay. Some people will say financial success means that you can pay your bills on time. Financial success means that you don't even have bills. You don't go to work. You might be in your own boss. Financial success can mean different reasons, different things to different people. And building wealth and creating financial success in your life can take time. And it's a lifelong marathon that you have to continue work through, even when you hit a wall, which happens to us all at some stage in our life. Okay. And you need to know what your definition of financial success is. Okay. So your definition of financial success might mean that I'm able to pay my bills and I've got some disposable income left over. Okay. After all my bills are paid. Okay. It might mean that I'm able to retire comfortably and have access to a minimum of £3,000 per month in a pension. Could even be having a pension. It could be that I want to be able to retire early. So what I often say to people that retirement is not an age, it's an income. Yeah, it's not an age, it's an income. Because if you have enough assets and income generating assets that can pay all your expenses without you having to work, you don't need to work again and you're effectively retired. Okay. But then you would have to get those income generating assets, and that requires work for you to do. Okay. So do the hard work up front so that you can live comfortably later in life as well. Okay. And also, it could be being in it, have enough wealth to live independently and also help others as well. Okay. Financial success might mean that I'm able to fund a particular school or a movement. I've got disposable income to support friends and family charities. That could be financial success too. Your bills are paid and you can also give back to others as well. Okay. So knowing what your financial definition of financial success is will definitely help you. Okay. So, and your definition is dependent on you. Okay. And sometimes you need to know where you want to end up. So sometimes we think about the here and now. Sometimes we need to think about the future. So if you're getting towards, you're thinking about retirement, what does retirement look like to you? Okay. Does it mean sitting down in the house, watching Homes Under the Hammer or Loose Women in the daytime? Does it mean that you're going to be volunteering? Does it mean that you're farming in Gambia? Does it mean that you're teaching voluntary to young people? Are you giving back by being a carer, a foster carer to children because you've got the resources to do that? What does that look like to you? Okay. So for me, I've always said to people that I don't want to retire in this country. I want to be able to retire somewhere that's hot, preferably with planting and lots of good food, fresh food and sunshine. Yeah. I don't want to be retiring in this country fighting school children to get on the bus in the morning time. No, I don't want to be doing that. Yeah. But I know myself, I'm not the type of person to sit down in one place. So I need to have the resources so that I can travel and move around and keep myself active as well. But you need to be thinking about what would that look like and visualize that as well and daydream. Okay. And think about what does financial success mean to you. Okay. So let's look at some steps to take you there. Okay. So number one, I always say to people, set goals. Okay. Now it's very important that we have a goal. Some people don't set goals, but I believe that it's very important to be a goal setter. Okay. And think about where you want to end up and then think backwards of how you're going to get there. Okay. What steps do you need to do in order for you to get there? Okay. So for example, your goal might be, I want to retire in Ghana. Okay. So one of the steps could be, let's visit Ghana and see how Ghana is. Could I live there? Okay. Because everybody talks about going back to Africa, but could you live in Africa? Because remember, Africa and England is two different systems. Yeah. And could you actually be able to slow down your life and live differently in that country? Thinking that you might be retiring, so you're going to be much older. So think about, could you live out there? Okay. If you have any health issues, would you be able to get the health support while you're out there? Okay. How much would you need to live on? What type of lifestyle would you want to have? Do you want to have a 7-bedroom house or are you humble with a 3-bedroom house? Okay. These are the things that to think about. Do you want to build a house or do you want to buy a house out there? Okay. Because my family's from Jamaica and I often see a lot of elders from the Caribbean. They start building their house. They say that all their children are going to live in that house. So they make a 14-bedroom house and never ever see that house finish because they put their cap too far. And sometimes you just need 2-bedroom house or 3-bedroom house. Okay. And that is manageable. So these are the things that you need to think about. If you need to buy land, how much is that going to cost? How much would the house build cost? Think about these things. Okay. Would I need to learn any languages? What else do I need to do? Are you buying the house by yourself? Could you get together with other people to buy that land and live as a community? Okay. Because retirement can be lonely. So do you want to live on a big vast piece of land by yourself or would you want to live with other people?
Let me jump in here, Charmaine, real quick, because one of the questions also is when we're buying things and we're planning for our children, don't you think we should have a conversation with them also to see whether they want to live in
Exactly. It's so true. So much elders that would say to me, oh, I'm building this big house and all my children and grandchildren are going to come and live in this house. They don't. Because you built a house in the bush, yeah, all the way from the city, all the glitz and glamour. They don't want to live down in the bush. They want to live in the city.
Right.
Yeah, they ain't coming all the way
And
down
I've
there to be
noticed
fighting mosquitoes.
and I noticed in Jamaica last time I was there were massive houses for sale,
Yeah.
like as you just mentioned. And most of them was because, people are trying to build these houses and they die before the build is complete,
Yep.
you
Yep.
know? So going back to your goals, I think if we're going to incorporate others into the vision that we
Yeah.
have, it would be wise to check with them because you
Yeah.
might not need to incorporate them
It's true.
because they don't want what you're planning for them.
Yeah.
You can help them in another way.
Exactly. And this is so important. You have to involve your family. So you might have individual goals, you might have like goals with you and your husband and wife goals. It could be a whole family goals as well. I saw a video the other day where a man bought a big piece of land and he's built many houses on that land, and everybody lives communally in that house. They've got their own house, the room, they've got a living space, bathroom, and basically a house within a house within a house. And they all live communally. And I thought, oh, that would be amazing to do
Nice.
that. Yeah. So think about, is that something that you would want to do? Okay. Also, think about where do you want to be in 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, and 20 years. Okay. And once you have these long-term goals, work backwards to think how you're going to achieve that as well. And then also break down the goals into like small, manageable achievements. So it could be that, okay, I'm going to get my finances in order. I'm going to save £500 a month. Little things like that. Okay. Think about your goals. And then when you get your goals, one of the things that I often teach people is to put put your goals to paper. Okay. Create like a financial vision board. So get images of houses, your perfect house, images of a passport, places that you want to travel. Think about your goals and put it on a on a A4 paper and have it somewhere that you can look at it every day. Yeah. So you're constantly reminding yourself of your goals and dreams each day. Okay. And think about your progress. You might review it every 30 days and find an accountability partner. Okay. That could be somebody that will check in with you and say, what's happening? How are you working? How far ahead are you on your goals? What's happening? What are the roadblocks? What are the challenges? Let's work through those together. Okay. Sometimes those are your own children as well. My children always ask me, Mom, when are we going to Gambia? When are we going here? When are we going there? And I'm like, yeah, soon come, we're coming. And that's so you want to get to they constantly reminding you of your goals and dreams and things that you want to do. Okay. Number two, you might have to look at your financial situation. Okay. And a lot of people don't like doing that. That's when they call it getting financially naked. Looking at your finances and being open about and honest about your financial situation. Okay. It's not about burying your head in the sand. It's also thinking about where you are now. Okay. Now, not saying that your financial situation may be doomy and doom and gloom. It might mean that you just have to make some tweaks. You might look at your financial situation and think, yeah, I'm doing okay. What can I do to maintain this? Okay. So looking at your financial situation is so important. It will help you with your goal planning. And revising your finances on a regular basis is key. Yeah. When you're thinking about making positive steps towards your goals, and also offers you a chance to change up things when things take a turn. Okay. So you might be spending lots of money on a particular thing. Things have changed now. I need to cut back. Okay. Winter time's coming. You're going to turn on your heating. So the bills are going to go up. Okay. What can I do in the summer to save some money so I can mitigate those rising costs when the winter time comes? Because England is cold. So we need to be thinking about that. Okay. What do you need to do to take action? Okay. And spending less than you make is an extremely obvious part of achieving financial success. Okay. And there's something that I do with my clients where I sit down and go through your finances and show you ways that you can save some money. And sometimes people say to me, no, I don't want to say, oh, this is harsh. Oh, it's like you're stopping me from doing all the things. But if you really want to achieve your goal, you will do these things. Okay. So I remember a few years ago, when we was running our businesses, we was never home, but we were paying for Sky movies and Sky Sports. Never watched any movies, but we're paying like £60 a month. And we thought, why are we paying this money each month? Let's get rid of this £60 each month and put that into an account and have that just going into a separate account. And that could be our holiday fund. Okay. That's what you can do. Every time you save some money, pull it into your savings. Like I've got a mentor of mine. If he goes to buy a rucksack, and his budget is £30, and he haggles with everything. He gets it down to £22. Best know he's putting that money that he saved into his bank in his savings account before he even leaves the shop.
And
That's
that
how
man's never
disciplined.
been to Bond Street.
Exactly, exactly. Exactly. He haggles with everything. He's not paying full price for nothing. So this is what you do. You always saving your money. Okay. Because sometimes people save money and if it all got more money to spend, no. Save that money, invest it in something. And that could be investing in
Right.
yourself. That could be going on a course. Course to show you, for example, how to make money with AI. Yeah. That could be investing in a course to do that. Okay. We've got so much ways to make money now. It's just brilliant now, but you just have to have the motivation and the discipline to do that now. Okay.
Right. We were
So,
saying last week, Charmaine, that,
mhm.
there are people making money in jail and
Yeah, of
sending the
course.
money out of the jails to look after their families.
Oh,
So
yeah.
if people
Oh, yeah.
find ways of hustling
Oh, yeah.
inside the jail, then what excuse do we have out here?
Exactly. Exactly. There's still artists in Jamaican jails making music, and you're like, how are you making music? And you're in jail. But they find a way because bills
They
have to
find a
pay.
way.
You find a way. And if it's like me, if it's like, boy, wintertime is coming, I really want to spend good 3 weeks in Jamaica in Christmas time.
Is that all?
Yeah, or 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, if possible. But I know that plane ticket is going to be expensive. So
Very.
what can I sacrifice now to ensure that I know that I'm going to go on that holiday? And as that day gets closer and closer to that day, you're happy and excited. Yeah, that's what we should be feeling each year, feeling some form of joy. Because
You know
I'm a
something,
big,
Charmaine? Jamaica's the only place
yeah,
the Caribbean is the only place where you can go to an estate, a
yeah,
certain travel agent, and
yeah,
actually pay monthly on your
yeah.
ticket. I've
Because
never
Jamaican people
seen
don't
that.
play. They will do 5 jobs, but they will go home back to Jamaica at Christmas time. Yeah,
Yeah.
they don't play when it comes to going back to Christmas time, and they will work 3 jobs, one in the morning, one daytime, one before work, after work, one before they go to bed, and they will save up that money and go back home
But
because
there's a
that is part of
particular
their
travel
self-care.
agency. There's a particular
Mm,
travel agency. I can't remember their name, but they
mm.
have catered their
Yeah,
service to Caribbean people in such a way that you
yeah,
can pay for your ticket monthly.
monthly. Yeah,
Where can you go and do? You can't pay for a ticket to go to America
you
or
see?
to Africa monthly, but the
No,
Caribbean, particularly Jamaica,
yeah.
they have these services. I can't remember the name of the
Yeah,
particular,
because they
but
know and you see that company is good because they are catering to a clientele, so they know they will have business every year. So before even that person comes back, they're already putting the money for the next holiday to go back. Yeah,
that's it.
because that's what you
Newmont.
have to do, and that's self-care. Because some people will work hard throughout the whole year with the view that at the end of the year, that is their rest time. That's the time where they're gonna rest, see family, plan and plot for the next year, and they come
Exactly.
back with a goal and dream, ready to take action. And these are the things that we can do. I don't believe in just working to pay bills. No, we must reward ourselves, even if it's just sitting down in your house. Yeah, and don't do anything and relax in your house because rest is very important. We have to unlearn those learned behaviors that we learned from our parents. Like literally just work ourselves to high blood pressure, diabetes, stroke, and cancer. We can't be doing that. We have to start taking rest. Yeah, it's so important. It's so important that we change those behaviors that we
Because
see
look,
over
if
and over again.
if that's all life is going to be, to
No.
go out somewhere
Mm.
and so-called work for
Yeah,
somebody else's business, then we
no.
may as well just hang it up and go backpacking, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
At
Exactly.
least we will see the world, right?
Yeah. Trust me. And I've known a young person that rode his bike from Wembley to Ethiopia. Just got on
Right.
his bike and said, right, I'm gonna ride my push bike from Wembley to Ethiopia. And I thought, wow, wouldn't I love to do that? I probably would never do it, but that would be an amazing thing to do. Can you imagine the memories and telling that story and things and the adventures that you go
Invaluable.
on? Yeah.
Invaluable.
And then you get to imagine you work so hard and get to retirement age, and then you're thinking, right, I want to do all these things that I should have done when I was younger.
That's
Yeah,
just modern day slavery, though, isn't it? It's not
exactly.
actually,
No.
well, it is a form of work because it is
Mhm.
force of being your flying force, to move an object closer to its destination. But we
Yeah.
were discussing this, and tell me what you think about this, Sister Charmaine, in regards to a side hustle, which really
Yes.
we see that as the so-called side hustle really is your main business, is it not?
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
what we're generally doing, we don't like what we do to pay our bills.
Exactly. Yeah.
If what we're doing to pay our bills we don't like, and it's out of necessity to pay the bills, then we have to find time to be creative, don't we? Do we not?
Yeah. And I'm the queen of side hustles, because I say to people, what you do in your 9 to 5 pays your bills.
Exactly.
Whatever you do after 5 o'clock is building your future.
There you go.
Yeah. So that's what you do. You definitely have multiple streams of income, because I realized from a very young age, relying on one stream of income is not the way. Because when you rely on one stream of income and that is cut, you're left very vulnerable.
Isn't
So
that though,
never rely.
Charmaine? Isn't that the trap many professional
Yes.
people fall into?
Yeah. Oh, big time. I sit down with high income people, they never have any savings. And they think that they're going to be paid really good all their life, and and their job is cut. Now they have to go from Waitrose down to Audi. It's a huge culture shock for them, and they can't cope, because now you've got to go for jobs that you're overqualified for. Yeah.
I was speaking to a barrister this week, and they were saying that they haven't been paid for X amount of time because the Law Society has been hacked, and they haven't been paying some of the lawyers who work on legal aid, particularly if they're working on family law. They're paying the criminal lawyers, but they're not paying the family lawyers, but they haven't publicized that they've been hacked, and much of their budget has been siphoned off.
Yeah.
And these are lawyers, barristers.
Yeah. And if you don't have it, then what we talk about is having an emergency savings fund, because that's what saved a lot of people in lockdown.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what people had to draw on to pay their bills. But if you don't have any backup, then mortgage companies ain't listening to talking about, oh, I'll pay you next week. No, they want their money like yesterday. So I seen a lot of people with like advanced PhDs having to go and do cleaning jobs just to find the money to pay their bills.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is why I always say to people, don't rely on one stream of income, because if one gets cut, very vulnerable. And it's horrible when you've got bills to pay. And all these people stressing you out, asking you for when you're going to pay this, when you're going to pay that. You don't want to answer your phone. Pure anxiety and stress. We don't want that. Okay.
And additionally, all your boasting rights has gone.
Oh,
you can go around boasting that you're this professional, but if you can't find any work and you end up in Waitrose, your boasting rights have gone.
And sometimes you're too overqualified for those jobs. Sometimes, if else anybody that goes for jobs, sometimes you're too qualified for those jobs, and because you've got so much qualification, these recruiters think you're not going to stay here for long, so we're not even going to give you the job. So the job you're more qualified for, you're not even going to get that, and you get rejected. So you're thinking, why am I getting rejected for an admin job? It's because you're overqualified. So sometimes you have to even take off some of your qualifications and dumb yourself down just to get the job and through the door. Because if they know that you're more qualified than your potential line manager, then that's a conflict as well.
And isn't there some resentment there? Because as far as they're concerned, who's doing the interviewing, why are you actually seeking a job? Should you not be building a business?
Exactly.
Because if you know all what is in your CV, why are you actually here?
Exactly. And it's difference between an employee and it's difference between an employee and an entrepreneur.
Right.
Entrepreneur will go out their way to try and generate income. Sometimes when you're speaking to an employee, they're comfortable until they are forced to think otherwise. And everybody should be thinking of generating income elsewhere outside of their 9 to 5, because we don't know what can happen. Especially what's going on in the world at the moment. It's so important. And we have to get organized as well. Because the amount of times when I sit down with families and I say to them, okay, we're going to go and do a financial plan, get all your paperwork and your life insurance policies and all your papers in place. They're like, I can't find them. Now, if you can't find your life insurance while you're alive, how is your family going to find it when you pass? or your will? Yeah. This is why there's so much argument and things happen, because we haven't got our house in order.
Right.
Yeah, we our parents will have paperwork in their grip that they bought in 1948 on Empire Windrush on top of the wardrobe that you can't get to. Yeah, because you'll break your neck if that ever drops on you. We need to know where all of these documents are. Yeah,
Right.
or the passport underneath the mattress, yeah, squashed in between so much layers and different things, and in the Bible that's in the corner that you don't know about, the secret Bible and all kind. Oh, they hide their things, and or underneath the another one is underneath the drawer, taped underneath the drawer. That's why I say never throw away anything when an elder dies, because you have to take everything apart because
and
they hide everything.
and it's suicidal when you know your memory is waning with age.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh
you
yeah,
got
I'm going through that
symptoms.
now.
You got you got symptoms of Alzheimer's disease,
Yeah,
and you still have the audacity to hide stuff.
yeah. And they can't tell you. That is a big thing
Right,
as well. Because I will hide things or put things down, and I'm like, where is this thing? And I'm like, where is it?
that's a sign of mild Alzheimer's, right? So it's
Oh,
best you leave it on the bed.
yeah, exactly. And even these things as well, all like, especially elders, especially from the Caribbean, your land titles and land
Yeah,
rights and all that papers as well.
yeah.
Because we don't want to write it down. And if sometimes when we speak to our elders about wills, they think that we're trying to kill them off because we're asking about a will. No, we're not trying to kill you. We just want to make sure these things are in order. And it's so important that we get
We just
organized. So one of the things I
we
talk
want to
about,
make sure we get your money smoothly. Is that what you
yeah.
just said?
No, no, no. We want to get your house in order, because when the person dies, it is headache when we don't know what their final wishes were, whether they want to be cremated or buried,
Yeah,
who should get this, who should get this asset, who shouldn't get this asset, all of these things as well. Because I say to people as well, money changes people. And
yeah,
the perception that there's money changes people. And remember, a lot of our elders are the glue of families. And when they pass, the
Mm.
whole everybody starts fighting over dead left, and who mum should you should have got this, you should have got that. You ain't even seen mum in 15 years, but all of a sudden you turn up to the house and want to dictate everything. And then the who's got the more money to pay for the funeral is the one that has all the rights, and you get excluded. And then when it comes to the funeral, one people are set on that side, one person on that side. Some people don't want to come fight back out on graveside. I've seen it all. So
so
this
tell
is
me
why I say
then.
to people, get these things in order. It's so important.
So tell me then, Charmaine, in regards to what you just said, okay?
Mm,
Because if a life has been lived and a
mm,
life has accumulated wealth
mm,
over 60, 70, 80, 90
mm,
years, then the
mm.
business really is the proper administration of that 80 years, 90 years
Yeah,
of wealth creation. So
yeah.
therefore, the problem, a massive problem must be a,
Mm,
we have a massive problem with succession,
mm.
massive problem with
Yes,
succession. So if we was able to master the art of succession, then we would be able to have conscientious, productive conversations with the next administrator
so yeah.
and those who will inherit our life's work. And then
Mm,
we can discuss with them what we want them to do with it for the next
exactly,
20, 30, 50 years, and what state we expect them to leave it in for their children, your grandchildren.
exactly. Yeah.
But we don't have those conversations. So even in regards to what we're discussing now, in
Mm,
regards to, the 10 steps, a massive step must be the step of succession.
yeah.
Because
Estate
if
planning.
that goes wrong,
Mm.
Mm.
that whole person's life and sacrifice has gone to the wall.
Oh yeah. This is why rich people, when it comes to estate planning, they have ironclad wills that will say you can't sell this. This is in a trust. You will get the benefit of that trust, but that money is held in that trust. If you marry, you will not get that money. If you marry somebody and they will say, if you marry somebody from here, you will not see that inheritance. That inheritance will be lost. So you have
Right.
to, this is why it's so important to get things in order, because writing your will is so important. Estate planning in place, putting assets into trust, having the right kind of trust for your needs, and updating it. Don't just write your will from 1980 and think that's going to last right up until 2025, because things have changed during that time. So you should be updating and looking at your things every 10 years or every 5 years when things change, because you might have people that on your will that you don't even want them to inherit it again. Yeah. Or you might put on your will, I don't want this person to inherit any of my assets because, and these are the reasons why. you can say that. I know people that say, "This is what I want I want to be buried. This is what I want. These are this is what I want to happen, and this is how I want you to distribute my assets. Yeah,
Right,
I want my assets to go to here, and if here for this use, and if it's not used for that, it stays in a central pot." And you can
right.
be very specific in how you do that as well. And that's why estate planning is key. And this is why I'm always talking about estate planning. It's so important
Because
because if
that
you,
that's
Mm,
that's really the bulk of the money.
mm,
Because remember, you've got 80, 90 years of wealth accumulation. Now,
yeah,
if we don't get that right and a loved one passes and you're expecting something and you don't get it, that can cause some serious bitterness that can cause you to die prematurely. So I think
yes,
it's important that we get out of this whole way of doing things where the will is secretive.
no, you right. Just tell your family you've got
Because
a
if
will,
someone's not in
and
your
then it's hidden
favor,
somewhere.
yeah,
Yeah,
if someone's not in your favor, as you
mm,
just rightly said, you should be able to sit them down and let them know, I haven't left nothing for you.
mm,
Okay. Well, I've left maybe £15,000 for you, £10,000, £20,000, whatever the case may be. But if you want a better share of that, as you just said, you need to change your ways. You need to get off of drugs and you need to go to rehab and you need
yeah,
to do this, that, and the other. If you
yeah,
lay out the steps and have that conversation, then I think we can move closer towards proper
mm,
building of wealth,
yeah,
through succession. But I
yeah,
think this, as you rightly said, this secretiveness of just wait until I'm gone and then you'll find out. I think that has to stop,
yeah.
you know,
And
because
it's having conversations. It's so important. Even there was a 90, the man was about 101. And he
mm,
knew how he knew his son, he knew his family. He knew his family's gonna start pure argument when he goes.
mm,
And he got my colleague to come up to his house and he wrote the will. And they were all there and he wrote the will. And I think two of the sons weren't inheriting everything and they were vexed, but you can't argue. You didn't have a good relationship with me all this life. We're constantly fighting. So why am I leaving anything to you? And also with the state plan as well, it's making sure if you know that your family is going to cause argument, sometimes you might not even leave a family member to take on all of that role. Get an executive, a professional executor to do that because you can't argue with somebody that you don't know. Yeah, because
yeah,
they're going to do everything that they need to do in black and white, and they're not going to deviate from that. So sometimes you have to be thinking about your family, your relationships, who you want to leave money to, or not leave anything to, and also inheritance tax. You got to think about inheritance tax. So you might have come over in 1948, bought a house for £2,000 in Brixton. Now this worth 1.2 million. Yeah, there's
and
going to
the
be
rest.
inheritance tax. Yeah, there's going to be inheritance tax. So you want to keep it in the family, but your family are, as we say in Jamaica, licky licky and want to sell the property. Now you got no assets in Brixton where you could have released equity and bought other properties with that property that your family's paid the mortgage off years ago, but you want to sell the property. And somebody comes over along quick and say, I'll give you a cash sell. You sell the property that's worth what 1.2 million for like 600,000. They're laughing at you because they know the value of it. Now they have an asset that they will keep forever, ever in their family, while you don't have generational wealth to pass on to your family.
It goes
Inheritance
back
tax is a
again.
big thing. What
Yeah,
that meshes us up in terms of wealth generation.
absolutely. And it goes back to what I'm saying. Like,
Mm,
if you've spent your entire life, and I hear many people say, I want to pay off my mortgage, I want to pay. But if you're just killing yourself to
mm,
pay off your mortgage, to then leave it to someone who's going to sell it on impact of
yeah,
knowing that you're dead, okay,
yeah.
and receiving it as an inheritance, what was the point?
Hmm.
Because many people who I speak to, who speaks about, wanting to be debt free and all of this, they're only going to die to leave their debt free assets to someone who's going to create debt with it.
Yep.
So
They'll sell the
therefore,
property.
it is an imperative
Mm,
that if you're building, as you mentioned, generational wealth, and if you're building assets, that the person who you're going to leave it to, you sit down and have a sober conversation with them, and they have to agree to your terms and your
mm,
conditions. And if they're not the one who's going to take us, for instance, if you have invested in a business and
Mm-hmm.
your business is worth millions of pounds as opposed to your house. No one ain't around Warren Buffett trying to inherit his house. His children ain't
No.
interested in his house. His house ain't worth nothing, hardly.
Yeah.
He's lived in there and it's a very modest house.
Yeah.
But what is worth billions is Berkshire Hathaway. He shares in his company.
Yeah.
So that's where everybody is sniffing around.
Yeah.
But if his children are not already on the board, if they cannot run that business, then they cannot seek to inherit his fortune, because his fortune is tied up in shares of a company that is global. So again, the succession, you're going to succeed me as the director of Berkshire Hathaway because you have been working in the company, you've been evolving, and you know how this thing goes. So I can pass you the chairmanship whilst I'm still alive.
Yeah.
You following me? And that's what you see. That's what you see happening with major corporations. That's where the real money is. It's in the shares in these major companies. So if we're not owning shares in companies that are evolving and growing, then we're always going to have these little squabbles over a house, over
all
a
the time,
over some little possession. And
trust me, it's even worse than that.
Yeah, and because our assets are so meager, that's the reason why we have to hide documentation, where it shows really the state of mind that we're in. And if we can't trust our children, trust our young people, then this is a sign that we haven't reared them right. We haven't reared them to take responsibility and to build on what we have, established. Because as you said, you have a house in Brixton, that should never be sold. You go to Knightsbridge, you go to Chelsea, you go to Hampstead, you go to these places, those houses stay in the family.
Yeah, forever and ever, amen. They're not selling those.
Amen.
They're not selling those houses. They will lease them. And that lease will stay in the family.
So I want to ask you some questions, because I know where time is running. I want to ask you some questions. In regards to the real inheritance that we're speaking about, isn't that in you now then, or somebody who's financially literate? Because you mentioned earlier, you're the first one in your family to go and study these things in university. So how important now is it for all of your children to follow in your footsteps and to see the value of doing that now, because some people say that you can't be conscious and then go and study from the devil's schools and all of this kind of stuff. Help me with that myth, and help our audience with that myth, and help our audience with the importance of ensuring that your children go to the best institutions that there is on planet Earth to learn about these things, and also explain to us where you would be if you did not take time out to study these things on a high university level. Yeah.
So for me, I recognize, so my dad was quite different from when I speak to my friends and family, because my dad was very working class. He was a bus driver, mechanic over the years, but he was very good with managing money. Yeah, he was a bargain hunter. I could ask my dad, where can I get the cheapest Dettol from? He would know. He will come to my house and goes, oh, the last time I came here, Charmaine, oh, you needed some light bulbs. Here's 50 light bulbs, Dad. What am I doing with 50? He's a bulk buyer. He makes me laugh. And that's where I get it from. We're always price conscious, but we save our money, but we also live our life to the fullest. So I grew up watching him managing the finances, working out the bills, what bills he's going to pay. So I learned from watching him. Okay. Yes. And my dad always said to me, and I often say, if you come to my presentation, I often say, because I remember asking him this question, Dad, why do you get Sainsbury's tomato ketchup? Why don't you buy Heinz tomato ketchup? And he goes, okay, do you want Heinz tomato ketchup or 6 weeks in Jamaica? And I'm like, what is this man talking about? But when you think about what he's saying, you look at English children, you love a ketchup. So I'm going to buy you the little Sainsbury's brand and save up our money so you can go to Jamaica. But when he took us to Jamaica when we was 11 and 12, that opened up our eyes to the world. The best teaching is traveling. The best thing you can do for your children is to take them back home where they came from. Yeah. So they know themselves. Okay. And then they know that England, like I worked out from a very young age, England weren't the place for me. Yeah. And I started to learn and educate myself about how money works and be able to teach myself. I remember a youth worker gave me a book called by George Sabira. No, he gave me a book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, The Cash Flow Quadrant, when I was a young person in a youth club. He goes, Charmaine, you're always talking and thinking about money. Read this book. I read that book and I thought, aha, I understand it now. I'm gonna go on that journey. So I started immersing myself in making money because I saw my mum and dad work hard. I saw them going and working all these menial jobs to put food on the table. And I'm like, I don't want to have to work so hard. So I need to educate myself about money. The best thing if you want to make money, learn about money and be around people that make money. Yeah. Because if you're around people that like to spend their money, go to a club, spend £15 on one drink, yeah, and spend all their money on Friday and they got bills to pay on Monday, you are not going to be thinking about wealth generation. You have to be in the right environment. Yeah, and that meant me going to conferences and seminars without my friends because I'd be like, "Come, let's go to this free seminar, talking about money." And they'll be like, "Oh, I don't want to go. It's raining outside." I'm like, "Fine, I'm going by myself." And I'll go into this place as the only black person in there, and everybody's looking at me like, "What are you doing here?" And I don't care. I'm going to learn. And then I took that information and I brought it back to my family, and then I brought it back to the community. So one of the things that I learned was the cash flow 101 game. I went to a seminar, found out about that game. Game blew my mind. I said, you know what? Went to my friends, you know this game? Nope. I went and invested in the game. At the time, it was about £70 for the game. And I started playing the game with people in the community. That opens up your mind. So educating yourself, okay? So being in the right environment, getting mentors. If you've got somebody that's doing better than you, learn from them, okay? Shadow them, volunteer with them, find out how they got to where they got to and learn from them. Yeah, I've done that many a times. Okay. And then also when I'm doing that, I involve my children in everything I do. My children literally grew up in my businesses. They see me building our businesses. They come to my businesses. I show them my account so they know what's in my account. When I make money, I show them as well. And I say to them, I can't take you out today to go here because I'm doing this. And I'm doing this for you. And they understand. And when they know that I made money, they're like, okay, mom, can we go here? And I'm like, okay, right. Because I want them to benefit from my wealth as well. But always tell them I'm doing this for you. So I can't go to everything that you want me to go to because mum is making money. Mum is doing this to put food on the table. My children have been traveling since their eyes open. My eldest has been to like Egypt 5 times, Jamaica, Barbados, all these different places she's traveled. So she's traveled on the world. If that wasn't because of me and my husband sitting down and thinking, you know what, travel is one of our hobbies. Let's show our children the world so they can learn from that experience. They would never experience that. Yeah. So it's educating my children to know that it's not just about going to work, paying bills and come home and sleep. No, it's all about having different streams of income and letting them know that you can work for yourself. It will be a challenge, but you can do it. And you might have to work long hours. You may not be out there raving and having fun all the time, but sometimes you have to make some temporary sacrifices to see long-term gain. And that's the thing as well. And be disciplined as well. There's times when I wanted to go out with friends and wanted to go carnival and wanted to go here, wanted to go places. And I said, no, I can't. I have to sit down in my house behind the laptop and do this assignment. I have to sit up all night and get this assignment done. I've got to do the assignment, then go stop, cook dinner, put clothes in the washing machine, come back. I've got to go and do the ironing, come back. I've got to go and help somebody and come back. That's discipline. And you do that for a period of time. And then I will say, right, I'm going to reward myself by going on that holiday. And I'll work hard to get that holiday. And then I know when that time comes, I will enjoy that. So last Christmas, we went to Gambia. And even though I was in Gambia, I was still doing my assignments for my PhD. While everybody's having fun, I was like, no, I'm going to go in the room, I'll lock myself away and sit down and do this assignment because I know that when I get this PhD and do what I need to do, I'll be having more time to go out and sit down in Gambia. Like my mum always used to say, you got plenty of time to play. Focus on what you need to do right now.
So
And I often say to my children all the time, if you're going to school, focus on getting all the grades that you need to get at that time. So you're not having to go back to school when you're 25 to go and do GCSE maths. You don't want to be doing that. Do it at the time when you need to do it.
Right.
Yeah, and be
Yeah.
focused on that. You got, I say to my children all the time, you got plenty of time to run up and down, like my mum always used to say to me, but you want to run up and down with resources with you in your pocket, but you have to be focused on the things right now. My children are good as well. They're really good like that. So I've shown them, they see the hard work and they see the benefits of that hard work as well. So I don't really have to teach them, I don't have to tell them that because they've grown up and seen that over the years. Because I make sure I involve them in things and take them places to see if you work hard, this is what you can get. So I try to give them a whole worldview out there because I say to them that you're global Africans, you don't have to stay in England, you can go anywhere in the world. And this is one of the things, benefits of internet now for young people. They can go, all they need is internet connection and laptop. They can work from anywhere in the world. Whereas our parents came over here with that 10-year plan to go back and never ever went back. Yeah. They still got the stuff they still got their stuff that they're sending home in the barrel. Yeah. And they were dead and gone and the stuff's still in the barrel to send back to Jamaica. No, we need to start thinking about what are we doing now and not
Right.
waiting. Like, when you're where you keep your good clothes for the special occasion, every day is a special occasion.
Every day is a special occasion.
That's
So
what we got
look,
to do.
I'm being pressured. So I'm being pressured. So what we need to do, I don't know, can we run through the other 8 slides in about 5-10 minutes?
Yeah, yeah, we can. Oh, I've got to go as well. So yeah.
Yeah,
So
I know you do. I'm being pressured.
so I was talking about looking at cash flows as well, making sure that you've got the right, you're thinking about what is coming in and out of your household. Yeah, very important that we start doing these things. Okay. And then when you're looking at what comes out of your household, does it really need to come out of your household? Think about what you're spending your money. Do you really need to spend your money on that? So like me, do I need to go to Pret to buy lunch, to buy breakfast when I should have just got up early in the morning and had breakfast at home? I'm like walking past fruits that I've got at home to go and buy fancy fruit salad in a plastic bowl and spending money that I don't need to spend. So think about how you spend your money as well. And then think about what your net worth is as well. So looking at what things you have as assets, what things that you have as liabilities as well. Okay. And what you want to have is your net worth, a positive net worth. Because some people have more liabilities than assets. Okay. And thinking about these things as well. Also, having a financial plan is very important. Okay. Very important. That's one of the main things that helped me to get where I am right now is having a plan of your finances as well. Even when you're running a business, you need to have a plan of action as well. Okay. So this is what I do. Sitting down with families to do financial plans, and I do it via Zoom. And if anybody wants to sit down with myself to go through their finances and look at financial planning, it costs you, it's free. I only say to people, if you sit down with myself, all I want you to do is to refer me to 10 other people. Yeah. It's not about keeping this information to yourself, it's to share with other people as well. Okay. And I can help you in all of these different areas here. Okay. And more. And if there's something that I can't help you with, I know somebody that can. Okay. So all of these areas like investment planning, estate planning is an area that a lot of people have been asking me about because I'm talking about it constantly all the time as well. Having things like lasting power of attorney, very important. Okay. And also creating a budget. A budget is so important as well. And budget doesn't have to be restrictive. It can be something like, for example, having a budget for fun. Having a budget for if you want to go and get your nails done and your hair done, that's part of your self-care. Have a self-care budget for that. Yeah, so important. Your gym budget. Yeah, going for exercise is part of your self-care. So have a budget for that. Okay. And also looking at other areas as well. So it's not about just not spending any money and sitting in the dark. No, it's all about planning your life so that you can have fun. Okay.
I'm glad you
And then
said that.
also, yeah, it's so important. Because people think that having a budget, that means you're not going to do anything and sit in the dark and don't live life. No, you have to live life. Yeah. So you might have
I know
like,
Sabina loved that one, didn't you, Sil?
yeah, it's true. Because people always like, oh, you spend loads of money getting your nails done. But getting your nails done might make you feel nice and feel good. So
there you go.
Plan for that. Yeah. Like men will go to the barber shop or you get a manicure or pedicure or look after yourself or do all these things, go play golf. That is part of your self-care. Budget for that. You have to have something where you have fun. Yeah. Even if fun is going to a restaurant and eating a meal, that is your fun budget. Budget for that as well. And then also think about how you can save money as well and creating a saving plan. And I always help people with that as well. And if there's no money to save, let's start thinking about how we can bring in some additional income into your household. Okay. And then also thinking about having like an emergency fund. So important that we think about having these things because sometimes things happen, job loss, medical, dental emergency, home repairs, car troubles, unplanned travel expenses, bereavements abroad. You need to get that money. So sometimes you can dip into your emergency fund to cover those costs so you're not having to use your credit card. Okay. So important to have these things. And then debts, thinking about ways to pay off your debts much sooner. Okay. And there's so many ways of getting out of debt. And I know sometimes we have to have that conversation with ourselves. How did we get debt into the first place? And then what can we learn from that experience? Okay. And then what do we need to take action on to pay off these debts? Okay. So have a plan. So it could be sitting down with myself to look at a financial plan, thinking of creating extra money, because sometimes people don't have a debt issue, it's an income issue. There's not enough income to cover all their expenses. So they put their money on credit cards, loans, Klarna, all these things. And then that puts them into debt. Okay. Because this country runs on debt. Yeah. So you need to be able to manage the debt that you have as well. Okay. And if you need specialist advice for debt management, we can help you with that as well. Okay. And then mortgages. There's techniques to show you how to pay off your mortgage much sooner. Okay. And if you knew how this technique from the start, we can show you how to pay off your mortgage much sooner. Okay. So if you want me to sit down with you and show you how to do that, at the end, I'll put my link and then you can book a time and I'll show you how to pay off your mortgage much sooner as well. Okay. And then make sure you're protected. Very important. One of the things I often say, especially to the Black community, you need to have your insurances in place. Okay. This is an easy way to create generational wealth in your family. Okay. So making sure that you have different types of insurance. So for example, if any disaster happens, you've got that insurance to protect you. Okay. So for example, if my boiler breaks down, I phone up my insurance, they will come and fix it because I don't do cold water in this country. So have these things in place. Okay. Making sure that you have your assets covered. So maybe building and contents insurance. Sometimes that comes with legal cover. So if you're having problems at work, you can get legal cover for your building and contents. Also, to protect against loss of income, so serious illness cover, critical illness cover, life insurance. Because sometimes a lot of us, we get a lot of illnesses, we can't work. If we have serious illness cover, we can claim on that insurance. They give us a lump sum of money that can pay our bills for like 2 years. And you can just take time off work for 2 years and focus on getting healthy. That could be paying for a nutritionist. That might even mean you going to sit down in the sun somewhere, yeah, to recover from an illness because you've got the money to do that now. So one of the things I often say to people is have building and contents insurance. A lot of companies, a lot of families are underinsured. So there's a technique that I sit down with families to make sure that you have the right amount of building and contents insurance as well, because you never know when you're going to need it, but you do need it. Then also life insurance. I speak about it all the time, the importance of having life insurance. So I may not have earned more than £25,000 in my lifetime, but I can inject £1 million into my family through life insurance. And like what we were saying earlier, if my family knows what to do with that £1 million, they can make that money grow. So one of the things I noticed that a lot of Asian communities do this. They will, on Granny G, they will take out a life insurance on her. That life insurance premium will be £400 a month. They've always got 5 children. Their 5 children will pay for that policy. When Granny G dies, they're injecting £1 million into that family. That family's going to take that money and buy property and use that money for businesses. That's why you never see Asian people renting, because they have this on lockdown. And these are some of the things I teach people. You can create wealth with life insurance. So important to do that as well. And life insurance is an amazing tool to protect your family and inject wealth into your family. So one of my mentors, which is Dr. Boyce Watkins, he's a millionaire, but he's got like 6-7 different policies because he wants to make sure his children benefit from his wealth. Okay. So and even rich use this to pay the inheritance tax. So they have their assets, they work out the inheritance tax, they take out a protection policy to cover the inheritance tax. So when that person dies, they've got one policy to inject into the family for wealth, one that pays inheritance tax. So then no money is getting taken from that pot of money.
And again, Charmaine, the key thing to what you're saying is, because we're sharing a lot of information, The key thing is for those families to inject that wealth, the recipients have to be
To know.
very clear this money is coming.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where we have to learn to have these kinds of strategic conversations.
Yeah.
Strategic conversations. I remember, and I was reminded yesterday of a conversation, that took place between a client to a professional and a client. And what was discussed in there, the man is very successful property developer, like extremely successful, big time. And when he was recounting his journey, he reminded me of the era when I was a lot younger. Because when young people, when back in the day, do you remember when the government used to give out loans to students who were going to university? You would get what they call it, a student loan. But they would deposit that student loan of 8,000-10,000 into your account, And what this particular man did, he bought his first property. His student loan.
Yeah.
And nowadays, because you can't get that loan like that anymore.
Because they knew that what people were doing in that, and a lot of people who weren't from certain social structures were making lots of money through that. That's why they changed the laws. So this is why you can be very creative. I know people that will got their children to go to university or buy a house in that area, get other students to pay the rent, and then by the end of that, they finish the course, they've paid a good substantial part of the mortgage, and they'll just keep it. And their child will live in that one room, rent free, while everybody else is paying the rent for that property and paying the mortgage.
Exactly.
But it's having that foresight and that knowledge of how to do that as well. And it also goes back to this as well. If you know that there are illnesses in your family that you might be susceptible to, get something like critical illness cover or serious illness cover. I prefer serious illness cover because you don't have your condition doesn't have to be life-threatening or terminal for you to get a payout. Yeah. And that what affects a lot of Black people in terms of illnesses that messes up their finances. They can't work, they can't support themselves. If you have serious illness covered, you get a lump sum of money depending on what policy you have, and that can pay your bills. You can go and get the best healthcare, you can go and get the best help using that money as well. And then estate planning.
It will also keep your family very happy, right? Because if we all have to pass at some time, everybody on this call is going to die at some point, unspecified, 100%. But we're going to go. So isn't it great to make people happy whilst we're here and also make them happy when we're dead?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, God. And money's just coming. This being paid out. That's being paid out. This is being paid out. So you're living, even though you're not here, you're still living because you're still paying bills from the grave.
Exactly.
Isn't that
and this is what I'm saying. Oh, yeah. And this is why it's so important to get our house in order. And I say to people all the time, 100%. It's so important. Making sure that you have a will, but making sure you have the will done properly. Because what I've tend to find is that a lot of these companies that are writing themselves into people's wills as executors. And in the will, it says, we're going to charge you costs. So if you've got elders that haven't checked out their wills, get them in contact with me, because we're coming across this a lot now. So you have to get the will done in a certain way. Yeah. And also when you write your will, you can have it stored in a secure place. And then so you don't have to keep it in your house. Because I've known people that had their brother that had their sister arrested, so she wouldn't be able to come into the house, so they can go into the house and look for the will and destroy it. This is what happens.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, we're crazy like that.
Yeah, so this is why. So have these things in place. Get it stored in a separate place, secure place, and I can show you how to do that as well.
With your solicitor. Yeah. But it's important. I can't express this enough. This is the third time tonight I'm saying this. That if you are a man or woman of means, it's very important to sit your children down, and whoever the beneficiaries are going to be, and let them know why you're moving this in any particular way. Okay. Very important that they appreciate the decisions you've made with your money, Because if it's a lottery, they're all going to go and find out one day that you left them nothing or very little. It's not good. It really isn't good, because many individuals, they have children, okay, and then remarry, okay, and then leave no money to their first set of children. And that can't be right, because if your first family is who you earn the vast majority of the money that you have with, then you have to make sure that you look after those children, you know, and that family, so that, you know, that they don't end up hating you. Because there's a lot of that also going around, and then they will end up hating those who you do leave the money to. So therefore, your life will be more complicated in death than it was whilst you were here, which doesn't make any sense. And sit everybody down.
And that's why it's important to update these documents all the time. And then number 8 is investing diversely as well. So investing, when you're talking about investing, the best investment that you can do is investing in your self-education.
Right.
Yeah. Get the knowledge and skills to help you do better. Your health as well. Making sure that you have healthy habits as well. So because you're not going to benefit from your wealth if you're not 100%. And also relationships, investing in good relationships with your family, friends, and also business associates. Yeah. And they say that your network is your net worth. If you're really good and you have good relationships, people will do things for you and support you in every way. That's what you want as well. Very important to have that as well. And then we already spoke about this, about planning for retirement as well, making sure that you have things in place like pensions, long-term savings funds, making sure that your house is in order. If you were to be ill when you get older, would you want to go to a home, or would you want to have carers coming in? Do you want them not to be able to sell your property as well? Because that's another big thing as well. Where would you get money from when you stop working? Where would that income come from as well? And I keep saying to people as well, when you get your pension, you can get it early. Don't take your pension early and go fix your kitchen. That's not what it was designed for. It was designed for you to survive for at least 20 years, 25 years if you're a woman, after you retire. So you have to have 25 years worth of income to cover your bills. If you don't have that, that means that you might have to go back to work. And I can't see you going back to work at 80. And I ask people all the time, can you see yourself doing the job that you're doing right now at 75? No. If it's your own business, yeah, you can do that until whenever you age. But going to work for somebody else, can't see most people doing that as well. And then last but least, set number 10, diversify your income sources. Okay, so looking at the income sources, not relying on one stream of income, thinking about having multiple streams of income. And there's lots of ways that I do, which I show people. You just have to book a time with me and I will show you one of the ways that I can help you to generate income as well. Okay. And I often say this analogy as well. Think of your income as a table. You got a table on the left with one leg to support the table. If you were to break that leg, the table will collapse. But if you've got multiple legs on the right and one of those legs will break, the table will wobble, but will stay remaining. So think of your income and think of the table as your life and the legs as your income streams. Never ever rely on one stream of income. Okay, even if that income is bringing you £20 a month, most of us are creative. We can feed the thousands with £20. Yeah, so these are the things that we can do. Make sure you have different streams of income coming into your household as well. Okay, and like I said, if you want to know about how you can make different streams of income, just get in contact with me. And what I say to people is, don't procrastinate. Take action now. Okay, and that's a link that I'll put up as well. So if you want to get in contact with me, there's a form to fill out. Then I'll send you my diary, book a time in my diary to look at your finances and get your house in order. And a lot of the things I spoke about today, we can help you with that as well. Okay. And I'm just saying to people, it takes you to make those financial changes. Can't be waiting for somebody else or Sadiq Khan or Keith Sturmer or anybody else coming to do these things to save us. We know that's not going to happen. We have to take action on these things. Okay. And we must assume control over our situation. Okay. Starting from now. And that also your situation and your family and friends situation as well. So yeah, so that's me. Went over a bit, but it's fine. I've got to go soon. I should have gone
okay, well, let's let you go. And we know you stayed a lot longer than you were expecting.
Yeah.
So let's give Charmaine a big round of applause.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Charmaine.
Thank you,
you.
That's
everybody.
wonderful,
Thank
Sister
you,
Charmaine.
Charmaine.
Thank you.
Wow, thank
Please
you
get in
so much.
contact with me and we'll
Yes, thank
take
you.
it.
Thank you,
Yes,
Charmaine.
Thank
amazing.
you. Take
Thank you so
care.
much. So just as
Thank
we
you.
conclude, family, thank you for a wonderful evening. And we know today's subject matter, we were discussing building a business, staying relevant, rooted, and resilient. And Sylvina's going to go over a few points in regards to that, right? Or we're going to go over it real quick. Did you enjoy that, first and foremost?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
That was
Oh, I can't
wonderful.
hear from
Amazing.
some of you. You
Thank
were
you.
disappointed? You
Wonderful.
said you're okay?
Blown away.
Everybody good?
Very
Yes,
good.
sir.
Yes,
Wow.
wonderful.
Yeah,
That's right.
brilliant.
Edified.
Very good.
Yes,
Excellent.
sir.
Well, again, we because there was another presentation in regards to building a business, staying relevant, rooted, and resilient. But we'll loop that over till next week because it's
Yeah.
already 20 past 8. But I do want to just stress what we were saying. And it really was a very powerful point that I think you all should home in on. You know, because most in our community, generally, the idea is, you know, when someone passes, they'll leave some money, maybe a house, maybe some jewelry and things like that. And we have to break that cycle, okay? And we have to break the cycle, I believe, of just being in suspense with these wills. You know, everybody's there. I wonder. It's like a lottery, Sylvina, you know, and you know there's going to be some winners and you know there's going to be some losers. I told you he didn't love you. I told you. and as I said, and because you've already gone, you can't explain the actions that you've taken.
Right.
That seem to make no sense to those who are listening to how you want your assets to be carved up. It don't make no sense to them. So wouldn't it be great to have that conversation with your loved ones before you take your rest? This is just a question. So put in the chat if you agree. If you agree, put 1 in the chat. If you disagree, put a 0.
Makes sense.
Way to get to know them as well on another level, right?
That's right.
Right, because
And record it.
this happens too much.
Yeah.
Because remember, it led to, when you watch that movie, The Gladiator. Why did what was his name? Why did the son kill his father? Because the father said to him, I'm going to leave the leadership to Maximus.
Okay.
Because Maximus was most qualified to be the leader of Rome. But the son wanted to be the leader. So the son killed his father so that wouldn't be announced to the masses of the people. Do you remember the movie? You didn't watch Gladiator once? Okay, my God, who have I got?
Take your word for it, bro.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah. So all of that to say, if someone's not qualified to build on your hard work, then whatever you sacrificed your life to acquire, they're going to destroy it within 1 generation.
Yeah.
So it's imperative that you have the best qualified people to continue. So for instance, if your wealth is in a company, okay, and as I said, you know, you look at some of the wealthiest men and women on the planet, their wealth is not in the biggest house. Their wealth is in the amount of shares they own in a top company. So if you say, okay, Mr. Zuckerberg is one of the richest men in the world. Mr. Zuckerberg does not own Facebook. He doesn't own Instagram. He doesn't own WhatsApp. He doesn't own Meta outright. I think he owns 20% of that company. So if he owns 20% of that company, but he runs it, then if you're one of his children, if you're not qualified to step in his shoes, do you think he's going to leave Meta to you? He may leave Meta to you in his will, but do you think the board will approve your nomination? They won't.
Bringing it up to the table.
Because you don't have the qualifications to take the company where your father took it. Now, if that's in business, then why would we leave property and wealth to children who don't have the capacity to take it where somebody else can take it if you're not training them to take it to the next level? Are you following my drift here?
Yes, sir. Good question, brother.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we need to think.
So if you can't step in my shoes and keep the money coming in, then why should I leave the money that came into you only to be squandered?
Or see it dry up. That's right. That's right.
See, that's just raw talk. That's not emotional talk.
That's
because
right.
the emotional talk is where it's my son, it's my daughter, but they're going to crash and burn what you sacrifice for them. So isn't it better you structure it in a way where somebody else can keep the money coming in and your children can be the beneficiaries of the growth of the company?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Absolutely.
Are you following me? The company's going to keep making money and then your children get a portion of it every month.
Makes sense.
If you put them in the CEO seat, company's dead within a year.
Exactly.
God. Yes,
you following me?
Yes, sir.
This is why when it comes to the succession and the running of a country, you might be the prime minister. Then it doesn't mean your son, because you were running the country, now your son can take over, or your daughter. No, they're not qualified to run a country. And they have this old saying, I worked hard so that my children don't have to work hard. Now, you worked hard and you were rewarded for hard work. If your children don't work hard or work smart, how are they going to keep what you give them?
Good point.
That's right.
They're going to return back to poverty within a couple of generations.
Or before.
Because they don't know how you sacrificed to make what you gave them.
That's
Are
right.
you with me?
That's right.
It's like back in the day when we were young, some of you are similar age to me. You used to know if your car broke down, you used to know how to open the hood and go there and try and fix it yourself. Do you remember those days?
That's right. Yes, sir.
Do you remember those days when we used to push cars when the batteries were flat? Do you remember those days?
Jump start.
Do you remember
yes,
those
sir.
days when you had a puncture, you would pull the car over and jack the car up yourself and change the wheel and get home safely? Do you remember those days?
Indeed.
Yes, sir.
That's
Yes,
right.
sir.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
How many young people do you even know who can change a tire?
That's right.
Much less change a battery.
Good question.
So what we are not doing, we're not passing on life skills. Come on, people. So if we're not passing on life skills, then you can't leave your car to your son because when he gets a flat, he's going to leave it on the side of the road. You with me? But because you worked hard for it, you ain't leaving your car on the side of the road. But when someone gives it to you, he jumps in an Uber and you're away.
Do you enjoy our content? Well, make sure to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell so you won't miss an episode.